The following podcast is a W2M Network original production. Visit W2Mnet.com for all of our other great podcasts, plus news, reviews, articles, and opinions from the worlds of wrestling, video games, football, and entertainment.
Stop now on the fire breaking through. Now this is war, now this is war. 'Cause as long as we still got a reason to hold on, we won't stop believing.
Hello and welcome to the Wrestling to the Max WWE 205 Live review for February 14, 2017. I am your host, Sean Garmer, here with me because Paul is out doing a work thing. Gary Vaughn.
Hey yo, I am here. I'm ready to talk about some cruiserweights, man. It's kind of fun to do this because I don't do this show all the time.
Yeah, it was an interesting show. Some debuts, a return, and then a big match in the main event to kind of get things going in that direction again for the 205 Live guys. So we have Rich Swann come out because this is his return show. He's having a match with Noam Dar. And he cuts a promo and saying, "Hey, I'm back on 205 Live. And since it's Valentine's Day, I'm dedicating this match to Alicia Fox." And, hey, Alicia, you can't handle this. And Alicia, goes crazy because Rich Swann says he can't handle her. And so they have this match. This was a good match here. I mean, I enjoyed it for what it was. You knew Rich Swann was going to win. I think, this was kind of one of those where you're having Dar work on Rich Swann's leg, and then he kind of just stops doing it, and then it just, all right, we're kind of going through it, but the Phoenix Splash by Rich Swann was beautiful here to end it, and kind of puts that exclamation point on winning and him being back.
Yeah, and it's good, to have this whole match in the beginning because of the fact that you do have Rich Swann making his return and doing what he needs to do to kind of put that exclamation mark on the fact that, hey, I am back, right? And they do that, and that's exciting. I mean, a good match overall. And I have to say, Noam Dar. He's one of those guys that I think that the crowd wouldn't get behind unless he had something kind of like what he's got now in Alicia Fox and doing that whole gimmick. I think it makes it easier for the crowd to either hate him or love him or whatever way they feel about him. It's easier. I don't know, Sean, if you understand where I'm coming from on that, but I think he kind of needs that a little bit, at least until fans really understand who he is. Because let's be honest, he does have a strong Scottish accent, and it's not always, for some people, easy to understand him. But I think that he does a great job. He's excellent in the ring. It's exciting to see him, and it's kind of fun the way they started this between him and Rich Swann. So I appreciate this, and I think it was good overall.
Yeah, I think a great way to reestablish Swann, put him back in, and then continue this thing with Noam Dar and Alicia Fox and making them be a thing on 205 Live, which, again, look, I appreciate the fact that they understand they really don't have anything for Alicia Fox to do, that she's not like the, newer girls that they have on there now, so they have her doing this thing on 205 Live, and I think we should commend WWE for having them, letting her do something else, right? Instead of just riding the pine or whatever in the Raw locker room.
Definitely. Yeah, and I think this is an excellent opportunity for even other, women to come in and be a part of, other parts of WWE and not just be stuck on, well, if you're not in the Raw or SmackDown Live women's, division, then you're out of luck. At least they can go do other things, and this is positive. I mean, I think 205 Live is good.
The thing is, too, it's just, I think we get too much wrapped up in this. And, both of us have wives, both of us have daughters, so it's not like we're coming from a bad place for this here. We're saying that look, we both understand how much of a step forward that WWE has made and the women's wrestling has made, and how much you want the women to be strong and empowered and all this stuff, but it's like, there's nothing wrong with them being managers still. There's nothing wrong with having a valet and having her be like, I mean, I don't know if I'm totally down with the Alicia Fox being crazy and like, you know, having to be boy crazy and all this stuff either, but like, you know, what Maurice does for Miz is just as great as the women going out there and wrestling and having matches. I mean, you need all of that. You can go and sit there and say, oh, but it's still a woman doing something for a man and whatever. It's like, it doesn't always have to be the woman doing something by herself. You know, just what Maurice does for Miz and making him a better character is just as a big, to me as a person watching it, Maurice plays a big role in that, and you can give her a lot of credit for why Miz has been much better since she's been around, and you can have women do that more for men and have the women that wrestle in the ring. I don't think it has to be one or the other.
No, and you know, people, if they're saying, you know, that it's kind of, you know, messed up, say, oh, you know, it's because, you know, they're saying the men are stronger. No. You need to look at this again, people, and understand. Look at Lana. The fact that Lana came out, she controlled what Rusev did, still does to an extent. Yeah. And, you know, I mean, that's
she just lets them have a little more power because they got married.
But yeah, and still, I mean, I think that she still controls things, even though she does. And you know, I think they've done a good job with the way they've done this diverse. It's not all the same, but yet they still kind of play the same role. So I think they're doing a good job. I have no complaints.
So we have TJP and Neville kind of going at each other to build up their main event match here. You get TJP telling Neville, hey, you know, I get that. I think Neville brought the whole thing of, well, the only reason you won is because I wasn't in the tournament. Well, TJP says they didn't invite you because your ankles are made of glass. And then somehow you went from being the most dominant NXT champion to, were you even on Raw before I made the Cruiserweights famous? Ooh.
Oh, man.
So you get a little bit of a knocking on Neville there. So good that TJP got to get the better exchange because you knew who was winning this match. They had a good match, I thought. The crowd didn't really care, that's a problem. You know. And I think it's just the crowd's kind of like, they don't really care about TJP, so.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest deal here. I don't think it's the fact that they didn't like Neville. I think Neville's done a great job. I think people love him, and you know, maybe you don't even know why, but people love him. and not that I'm not saying I don't. But
well, Neville's just that guy that like you just don't cheer for him because he's just that nasty heel. Like there's no reason for you to cheer for him. You know.
Yeah, but let's just say even if you do cheer for the heels, I mean, still Neville is a guy that you know you like. But I look at this and say that, you know, T.J. Perkins, it's excellent that they gave him some really nice, you know, verbiage, and he was able to come out there and really cut down deep to Neville and all that. But man, I really feel like they've got to work on Neville some more. He's great. He does a good job in the ring. I have no problems with what he does in the ring. He's a great athlete. But they really have to work on him in some way, somehow, either make him matter either by being, you know, a heel or make him, I don't want to say change his character, but if you have to do that, you have to do that. You just got to
TJP, because Neville.
TJP is what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Neville's fine. Neville's a great heel, and he's already done it. I'm just talking about, you know, maybe TJP has to be a heel or he has to do something else. Man, Sean, it's so weird. At first, we kind of really liked this guy, and then even me personally.
Well, it's just that match, the feud with Brian Kendrick just kind of killed the whole thing. Well, and like it just made him look so stupid too. It's like why would Brian Kendrick say those things about let me win and all that stuff, and then TJP just never got his heat back either. Brian Kendrick just beat him again. Mm-hmm. And then TJP just went away, and he kind of just became nothing. And
Okay, and let's be honest. The character that he portrays, a video game, it's a little hokey. Let's be honest.
Well,
It just
yeah,
is.
thankfully they
Yeah.
stopped doing the whole where they made him say video game jargon.
Yeah,
That was a problem. But
and just the way he's doing things. Like I said, this is a great way for him to kind of come across as being, very real, cut to the heart of Neville, say some mean things to him. But they've got to continue doing things like that with TJP because he can't be silly, because he's already not the strongest talker. Let's be honest. He doesn't cut the best promos, so they need to work on that a little bit more to basically make TJP great again.
oh, God.
Hey, well, it hasn't worked so far for, the other guy on the, WB's roster, but maybe it can work good for him. Poor Darren Young.
Yeah, for Darren Young. Just that's all we got to say here with that. But yeah, I mean, we'll have to see with TJP if they ever do something with him and if that gets going for him. But lastly, Gran Metalik made his 205 Live debut here, and God, I feel so bad for him. This was not the debut you really wanted to have. I think he had the right opponent with Drew Gulak. Well, I should mention that Brian Kendrick also had this little funny backstage thing with Kurt Tozawa, where Brian Kendrick's, hey, I'm going to let you be my protege or whatever. Do you understand what that means? And Tozawa's like, no. And Kendrick's like, no, but if you don't need to be keeping secrets from me if, you're my protege or whatever. Like, what about being my protege? He's like, no, I don't like you. And then that's it. He walks away. That's the end of the segment. Like, oh, man. Like, oh, please don't tell me we're doing this whole the Japanese guy doesn't know English thing, because
Oh, jeez. It's hilarious, man. I'm sorry, but it just, Brian Kendrick, how he is,
Right.
and you add into Zawa. I mean, all that. It's just great. I'm sorry. I appreciate this to the extent because, the whole no, just very serious.
Just no. And
No.
I don't like you.
I get a kick out of it.
It's fine. Man, you gotta start somewhere. Let's see where they go with this.
Yeah.
So, speaking of having to start somewhere, Gran Metalik had to start at some point. The problem is he does a botch on his first try for a big move, and then it kind of goes down from there. I mean, he does hit the, Metalik, the Brio Metalik, that big rope walk, or not the rope walk, the springboard tope con hilo to the outside and all that, but it really felt like he was going in a much slower motion than we'd seen him on the Cruiserweight Classic, and he seemed really nervous. I don't know if it's the ropes were being weird or whatever, but it's really funny when Marvin was calling you the king of the ropes and you're sitting there botching it. So
Yeah,
Metalik wins, but it's just, I don't know, this didn't look very good.
Yeah, he's gonna get a talking to from Morrow after that one. Don't make me look stupid, kid. But
Morrow's too stuck on his puns for that.
I know, right? This was not, like you said, a great debut for Gran Metalik. I mean, not all debuts work out the way you want them to. Sometimes they do. Sometimes they just kind of come out on the dopey side. But you know what? I think, later on we'll forget about that, and that's not the big thing. It's just nice to have Gran Metalik on this whole roster finally, to be a full-time guy, to be a part of this on a regular basis, and he is a super talented guy. I think he'll get things worked out, so no matter what, I mean, this was, decent, Drew Gulak and everything he provides. I mean, these two guys are going to be working again in the future, and they'll have better matches. But I don't know. I mean, I get it. It wasn't great, but I'm just excited to have Gran Metalik on here. I mean, I really am. And we saw Tozawa and how he's really helped this whole cruiserweight. I think, so will Gran Metalik. I think he'll really help this cruiserweight division.
Yeah, Metalik will certainly help it. It's just about you know, getting getting him there and making sure that this gets better for him. I mean, obviously, I think he'll get better as time goes on. Just
Yeah,
it
the first
sucks. Your
impression thing.
debut, you want to make that first impression, right?
Yeah, exactly, and that's the problem. You could say, well, people saw him and they hated that, he got pumped up so much by everybody, Mauro Ronaldo and everybody, and then he comes out there and does that. That sucks. But I hopefully, if people are watching 205 Live already, they'll give this guy another chance, and that's the positive thing. Here's my fears: if this was on Raw, I think I'd need to be a little bit more worried because the more eyes are on him. But
Yeah, certainly. But I don't know. We do? No, we don't. So that's gonna wrap it up for our 205 Live review for this week. I mean, hopefully, you guys will let us know what you thought about 205 Live. You can reach out on the website, wtmnet.com. Go into that podcast post and comment there. You can hit us up on Twitter at WTMSean, at WTMGary, or just at WTM Network. That always works as well. And make sure we're supposed to have I don't know if we're going to do it tonight or it might be on Thursday, the New Japan, New Beginning in Osaka review. And for sure we will have our WTM episode 244 part 2, where we won't be previewing something for the first time in a while. So we're going to have we have to figure out something to talk about. But I'm sure we will. I'm sure there'll be news to discuss, and of course we'll be talking about that Impact Wrestling and whatever else is going on. So make sure, if anything, if you liked what you heard here from Gary and I, don't forget, Paul's always here to deliver his great analysis as well when he's here. But you can subscribe either through the Wrestling to the Max feed. Just search Wrestling to the Max on your favorite podcast provider, whether it's iTunes or Stitcher or Podcast Addict or TuneIn or YouTube or whatever. Or you can just search that whole WTM network and get all of our great podcasts that we do. Not just, there's other wrestling podcasts on this network, or just the other podcasts that Gary and I participate in. So, all right, until next week, everybody, see you later.
The following podcast is a W2M Network original production. Visit W2Mnet.com for all of our other great podcasts, plus news, reviews, articles, and opinions from the worlds of wrestling, video games, football, and entertainment.